Hey guys, there you go. I was gonna say it looks like everybody's on mute when they're coming in just because of the size of the group, which is awesome, and the fact that it's being recorded. So, um,
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Paige, you're on mute as well.
Oh, there we go. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Maeli, I can't see you unless your camera's off purposely, which is fine.
Oh, no. Let's see.
I just look a little rough, so yeah, I'm decamered.
Wait, why can't you see me?
Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay, well, no big deal. I can hear you, so that's all that matters.
Okay. Can everyone else see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, okay.
Must
All
just
right.
be my car. Okay, so welcome everybody who's on. We're gonna kind of switch off who goes over what on these different meetings, what people kind of specialize in. So I think I'm running this thing, and the next group we've got Maeli here today to kind of talk about her specialty and what she does. For me, first, I wanted to talk a little bit about buyers as these landscapes are changing with real estate. For me, I'm pretty much treating buyers the same way I did before. I've talked to a few of the agents in our group who haven't really done buyer consults. They would just kind of get out and start working with people. For me, I really don't work with somebody, if at all possible, unless they come in and do a buyer consultation first. That shows how serious they are. They can get to know you first before signing a contract with you, which we have to do now. In the past, sometimes I'd say, hey, that we can get out and see a couple homes first, make sure it's going to be a good fit before we actually sign anything. We want this to be a mutual relationship. You know, we want to work with you, you want to work with us. But now I just go all out in the buyer consult. I explain that now we have to have a buyer broker agreement signed before we can get in and start working at homes. But I say we're not the agents who just set you up on a hot sheet and let you look on Zillow and then you're sending us homes to see and then we go open the door for you. Like, we're actively looking every single day. We're doing outreach for off-market properties. We have access to the MLS where you can see all the expireds, all the canceled listings that maybe pulled it off briefly that nobody else is seeing. So canceled, expired, off markets. We have relationships with agents, you can say, between our group and some of the top agents in the state. So a lot of times we sell homes before they even hit the market. And sometimes that's how you get the best deals, especially if you're an investor. So really selling your value that way, going through your buyer packet. If you don't have one, reach out to me. There's tons of resources, whether you get one on Etsy and customize it to yourself, or you look at mine and customize mine to yourself. But really the buyer consultation is to go through the home buying process step by step. So when I get a new buyer, I say, hey, what we do is we like to meet in person first, go over exactly what you're looking for so we can get all of your criteria and get on it, start finding you the best deals and the best homes. We'll go through the home buying process, start to finish, how we do business, what it's like working with us. And then if it's a good fit, then, we'll establish our agent client relationship and we'll get out and start looking at homes. So I usually take them to lunch for a buyer consult. I'll just take them out to lunch. I pay for it. It's a write-off. Go through my whole buyer packet, make sure I get to know them, ask questions, be genuinely interested in them. Make sure you really get to know exactly what they're looking for. You write everything down, explain your value as an agent, the home buying process. And then to me, it's almost easier to explain, yes, that these are the rules. We have to have a buyer broker agreement signed for liability reasons before we can get out and show you homes. This is everything we're going to do for you. And usually, I mean, it's a no-brainer for them. They're going to sign and get out and start working with you. So how I explain the buyer broker is I say, hey, this is what we charge. We charge 3% at closing. So 99% of the time that's coming from the seller of the home that you're buying. The 1% chance that, like, because we are looking at everything. So sometimes we'll find a for sale by owner who's like not, he's not automatically offering real estate commissions. We'll always talk through that with you beforehand before making an offer. So you're never going to get stuck paying a 3% commission at the end. On the 1% chance we find a home because we're looking at everything that isn't automatically offering a buyer agent commission, we'll talk with you before making the offer. And that's what we would say before these changes happened anyways. And so we're pretty much saying the same thing. For us, it's almost better because now we have to have a buyer broker sign before looking at houses. So it's like, this is the deal with any agent you're working with. 99% of the time we're getting it paid by the seller of the home that you're buying. So just my spiel I wanted to talk about today. As I've been working with buyers, to me, it really hasn't been different at all from how we've been doing things in the past. So if anybody has any questions on buyers or how we're doing things, or if anybody's having any problems, let me know. Happy to open it up for some questions right now. But if not, I'll hand it off to Maeli. One more thing I do want to say. With buyers, you say all this, kind of what I just said, and then you really do have to go above and beyond for them. Like I have my vendors list planned out. So if you're a new agent, one of the first things I'd be doing is getting your vendors list, dialing in, whether it's a painter, a handyman, a contractor, an electrician, a HVAC guy. So you just have so much value to give them. Like, yeah, we have everything dialed in, from cleaners to contractors to interior designers. We've got everything locked in, tried and true, a trusted list of people between Maeli, Scott, me. I mean, we have a list of people for anything that they need, just another value add to them. And then you've got to stay on top of them, like reaching out to them at multiple times a week, if not every single day, sending them properties, letting them know what you're doing outreach to other agents, asking if they have anything upcoming, maybe doing a little post on your social, talking about what your clients have coming up. I've even seen, if you guys follow Jason Cassidy, he does an awesome reel sometimes when he gets new buyers. He say, hey, I'm working with these new buyers. We just signed them. Their names are Tom and Angela. They're looking in this area, this price range. They need this many bedrooms. If you're seeing this message, it's on purpose. Please reach out to me if you have anything coming up. We've scoured the market. We know everything that's on market. We're looking for off-market properties for them. So just adding as much value to to them as you can, and then actually doing what you say after the fact, going above and beyond. It's going to be a no-brainer for them to work with you. They're going to give you referrals, work with you again when they go to sell the house. But I'd say if you have your buyer reaching out to you, asking questions, reaching out to you, asking for updates, sending you homes, you should be doing your job better. You should be the one who's reaching out to them, who's in front of them, in front of the market every single day, adding value to them, and just going above and beyond with communication, finding them off-market deals, having all of the vendors dialed in, ready to go, scheduling the inspection during the under contract process, being in touch with them consistently. And it's just, there's so many agents who got lazy with how things used to be, and with getting Zillow leads and not taking care of their clients. How we articulate things, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer for our buyers. So if anybody has any questions on buyers in particular, or how we do things, our vendors list, anything, we use a lot of stuff on Canva. I buy a lot of stuff on Etsy that you can just customize in Canva. It's been super helpful for me. So let me know if anyone has any questions in here. If not, I'll hand things off to Maeli.
That was amazing. That is so fast.
Very
You're
fast.
So amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, do we have any questions? I mean, that was incredible value. Who did you say to follow, Jason?
What's that?
Who did you say to follow, Jason? That's
his name's Jason Cassidy. So he's an agent out of San Diego, and he does these reels sometimes that say, if you're seeing this, it's on purpose. That's how he starts it. And he said, we just signed some buyers. He says what their names are. He says exactly what they're looking for, and like the area, their price range, their criteria for their houses. And then he'll boost them like in those neighborhoods or in those areas. And he's like, I get tons of deals just from doing these videos. My buyers love it because I'm going above and beyond trying to find them deals. And it's just a little something extra that you can do for your buyers to add value.
I love that. That's, I mean, golden nugget. Drop the
Yeah.
mic.
I also say, as we're looking at homes, like everyone's like, oh, what would you offer? What would you offer? I say, before you offer on a house, we do a full CMA on it. So we're going to look at all the most recent comps in this neighborhood. We'll add and subtract values from all these different properties. So we'll do a full CMA, which honestly is better than what you're going to get with an appraiser most of the time. So you're going to know what it's going to appraise for, and then we'll try to get you the best deal possible, but you'll know the exact value of the house before we offer on it, which is another thing they don't have access to, obviously.
And I think that that's really important that you point that out. Like, we have to find a reason for them to want to work with us, right? Like, it's not just like, I mean, you said this last week, but it's so relevant. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Everyone can see what everyone else is seeing. Like, you're not special. As a real estate agent, you're not special. Unfortunately, I wish you would. Oh my gosh, we see everything that everyone can't see. It's not true. Zillow sends them, they can sign up for their own hot sheet. So we have to be someone different, like Paige is saying. We have to provide more tools, right? And give them more value. And I mean, that's such value. Any questions around that, and or like the buyer's packet or buyer's walkthrough?
Or anything that anybody's struggling with, in particular with buyers or scripting, what to say, how to find off-market deals. Did someone say something? Anything that anybody's struggling with in particular, I guess.
Tana, go.
If you have specific scripts that you use, or maybe you don't have them written down, and maybe you could and maybe send them out to everybody on your email list.
Yeah.
Because that's always nice to have something just to kind of, I used to not like scripts, but then I realized that we have so many scripts that we use every day just normally. So it's just the way we are. So we're creatures of habit. And so if you have anything like that. The other thing I was going to say is I haven't had a buyer consult yet with the new things in place, but my friend has. And she was saying that, you know, she says there's the seller. I love exactly what you said, Paige. It was awesome. But they said the seller's either going to pay for it, which is 99% of the time, or it's the seller and the buyer. Or in very rare cases, you would need to, and we'll do everything we can to have that included in your closing costs. and that's what she was saying. I don't know what you feel about that or how you think, but so far she's been able, on 2 of them, it was 2.5, and she got the other 5% through the closing costs. So she was just in really good communication with the lender. What are your thoughts?
So I would say you can have it where the seller just pays your brokerage directly now. Like the seller still just pays your brokerage directly. So and everything's still changing, obviously. So as far as I understand, it doesn't even have to be through closing costs. Like the listing agent, they can just pay 3%, and then the seller can actually pay the buyer's brokerage 3% as well. Like it's just part of the commission. It's just decoupled. It's separate. That was the whole point of the lawsuit. Is they're like, hey, why should the listing agent? And this is what I say in listing appointments too. I'm like, to me, it actually makes more sense to do it this way, because some of these agents, especially at these big bougie brands that are like, oh, we only do 6%. Sorry, it's 6% no matter what. Say you have a buyer who used to be an agent, or they're licensed in another state. They're like, we don't need an agent. Obviously, having an agent is super valuable. I've saved my clients tens of thousands of dollars, saved them from losing their earnest money. We keep track of everything from start to finish, but sometimes like somebody has their license, they just don't want an agent for whatever reason. If they go and they make an offer and they're like, hey, we just want, 3% off the price or something, the seller's agent in the past was like, sorry, we have the full 6% commission. Like there's nothing, and I'm not saying this to buyers, I'm saying this to sellers. We have the full 6% commission. Sorry, no matter what, you're still paying us that 6%, which doesn't make sense. Like they're really getting 3% or whatever they charge, 3.5%, like whatever you're charging. That should be what's paid to the listing agent. It includes all their marketing. It includes everything they're doing. If the buyer doesn't have an agent, why should the seller still be forced to pay the full 6% to the seller? So now the whole point of the lawsuit was to decouple that. No, the listing agent gets what the listing agent gets. Sorry, just denying this call. The listing agent gets their percentage. And then if the seller wants to offer a percentage to the buyer's agent, they can pay that separately. The buyer can pay their agent. They shouldn't be forced to give the listing agent the full 6% no matter what. So to me, it makes more sense to do it this way, but the seller can just pay the buyer's agent directly. Like you can just have a contract with your broker and the seller. So it's still coming from the seller. It's not necessarily closing costs, if that makes sense. So I just say 99%, it comes from the seller of the home that you're buying. In the small 1% chance that they're not willing to pay what we're charging, you'll know that before we make an offer on the property, and we'll work it out. Yes, maybe they're willing to pay 2.5%. Then before you offer, you're like, hey, they're willing to pay 2.5%. Do you want to offer, do you want to up the price like a few $1,000s to cover the whole thing so you're not paying anything? Or, you can just go back to the negotiation table at that point with them. But I think even if it's in closing costs, it's coming from the seller. So I just make it simple and just say that.
Okay. Because what she was doing was finding out from the lender how much the closing costs were. And then they were asking for closing costs from the seller. So it was still included, even though, they paid 2.5%. The other 5% is in the closing costs of what they asked for from the seller anyway.
So instead of going to their loan closing costs, it's going to the agent?
Yeah. Well, some of it is, but they can do whatever they want with their closing costs.
Yeah.
Or with that portion.
Got it. Yeah.
There are lenders that are doing that. There are, absolutely. So we just gotta get with the right one and kind of verify that that's, the terms make sense. But
So-
whether it's closing costs or you just send a direct buyer broker for you to get paid directly from the seller, it doesn't really matter. I would kind of prefer to do it that way. It's like, these are the commissions that you're responsible for paying. And then if you want to ask for loan closing costs too, you can, but that seems like it complicates things a little bit more to me, but definitely an option if you want to go that route as well.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
hey,
I decided I'm putting my red suit away forever, so you guys don't have to see it anymore.
whatever.
You guys don't believe me? Paige, are you in a minivan right now?
No.
Oh, all right. I see. Do you want me to? I'll put it back on. Hey, so real quick, one thing that we have to be really good at is we have to learn how to negotiate off market with the other agents. And all the really good realtors, they do a good job with this before they even submit the offer. Once you submit the offer, you lose control, you lose leverage. So you're much better to reach out to the realtor and say, hey, we're going to give you this, but we need this commission part of the deal, and get everything done off market, get everything done via text. or phone calls before you even submit the offer, because if all of a sudden you submit it and then they're like, well, yeah, but then does that include the realtor's commissions and everything else? So it's called the if then close. Say, hey, if I bring you this offer, would you be willing to accept it? Because especially if they don't have an offer, they're going to want to do everything in their power to get you to accept that offer. So if you can get a verbal out of them or via text, that's how us investors, we do most of our deals, so that we don't submit an offer and it gets leveraged like crazy. And then the second thing, guys, I haven't done this ever. And if you guys are interested in doing this, I'm literally at my whiteboard, because Paige and I, a few of us, we're going to Arizona tomorrow. And any of you guys that want to learn how to do this tomorrow, I'm actually going to be teaching you guys how I find all these off-market deals and how I'm able to leverage deals with other existing deals that are on the market and stale listings. So if any of you want to come tomorrow, I'll show you guys how to do it. I guarantee we'll get 1 or 2 deals out of it. And I'll show you guys how to put together the entire process. So literally, you find the deal, the money will follow the investor. I know Maeli's got investors that will flip homes, things like that, working with stale listings. So, just figure out how to kind of negotiate the deal off market is the name of the game. So anyone interested tomorrow, we're going to be hitting the phones hard for a couple of hours. And I'll show you my secret sauce and how I've done it the past 15 years and how I've created my own off-market deals. I don't find deals, you create deals in this market. That's all I got.
Also, I don't know if anybody's coming to Bamania, but if you're coming, Tom Toole is like the script master. He's going to be doing a class at Bamania. He's awesome. If you can't come, I would go follow him. He has a bunch of stuff in BAMX. He has got stuff on YouTube as well. But Tom Toole, TOMTOOLE, he's the best at scripting, what to say. But he's going to be doing an awesome class at Bamania for anyone who's going. It's going to be really good. I'm super excited.
Let's go. Okay.
I think
Any other
Mitchell had a
questions?
question. Mitchell had his hand up real quick, and then
Yeah.
take it away,
Mitch.
Maeli.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, kind of with what you're talking about before, how important it is to know how you can also negotiate with that, the commission, and you and your buyers know that as well. So if you already have agreed with your buyer that your commission will be 3%, and then a listing is saying 2.5%, like Scott was saying before, text between that agent and say, hey, my buyer, you can have an addendum to bring your commission down to match the listing, but you can negotiate with that listing agent, say, hey, me and my buyer agreed to do a 3%. Can you match that? Like, will you be able to change your listing commission to give us a 3% instead of 2.5%? And I just did that with someone, and they just said, yeah, we can make that work, 2.5% up to 3%. And just know that you can make that negotiation as well.
I don't even ask the agent, you guys. I don't even ask. Now they have it right in the offer, right above the section where you put the agency, who's representing the seller, who's representing the buyer. I just put 3% in there. They can work that out with their seller. I don't even call them and ask them ahead of time.
Like that.
Yeah. Just put 3%. It's like, here's my offer. I get paid 3%, and this is my offer. You can negotiate the price from there, but it's just set in the offer once you submit it now that it's 3%. I don't even ask them.
Smart.
Yeah. So, and I'm saying for my sellers, I'm just saying it's negotiable now, which a lot of buyers agents don't like, but I'm like, look, let's leave it blank. This is my own thing. No one's told me to do this. So I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, but this is what I've been doing for my sellers and they love it. I'm like, great. I don't charge 6%. I charge 3%. That's what I charge. This is what's included. Now we don't even, I tell them 2 different things. I say, there's 2 ways we can do this. If you want to pay 3% to buyers agents, it's a marketing tool. So we'll send that out in the email blast. And as we're doing outreach to agents, hey, we're offering 3%, send this out to your buyers, bring your buyers through. Seller is paying 3% buyer's agent commission. So you can do that if you want to advertise that. But now the buyer is signed ahead of time with the agent anyway. So for me, if I was selling my house, this is what I charge. Let's leave the buyer's agent blank and we'll say, yes, we are willing to pay buyer's agent. It's negotiable with the terms of the offer. Maybe you get a buyer that's only charging 2%. Like they just showed their client one house and they're like, hey, I'll charge you 2% on this house, and they go in and take them through. You can save a little bit of money. So I'm like, let's just leave it blank and we'll say it's negotiable with the price and the terms of the offer. So that's what I've been doing for sellers. And I'm not even asking the seller's agent when I'm sending offers in. I'm just putting 3% and sending the offer in.
Yeah.
And the sellers love it. They're like, sweet, there's a possibility I save a little bit of money. Awesome. And then when we get the offer, we can look at that and we'll negotiate the terms and the price based on what the buyer's agent is asking for. Honestly, this makes more sense to do it this way to me. So
Yeah.
some agents, it's a little bit harder when you're nervous about getting the buyer broker agreement signed, but everybody has to do it. So everybody's in the same boat. So to me, it honestly makes more sense.
No, yeah, exactly. That's so good. And I think that it's funny that we are negotiating things. I mean, I don't know why we've made up this concept that this is more difficult, because I agree. Like, this is how we've been doing it. This feels very on point on brand of what successful agents have been doing. So let's not stress about this. It's not actually a big deal for the good agents out there, right? It's only a big deal if you were going behind them or trying to, pretend like you weren't going to get your commission, or I don't know, if there was some kind of weird thing that your angle was off, right? But now it's just giving you a clear, precise angle of like, hey, this is what I'm worth, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and this is how we're going to get the job done. End of story. Like, I think that's super clean. I think everyone appreciates clear communication like that.
Yeah. So Maeli, are you working with buyers? Like, because you are mostly buying properties off market, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And so do you just do you work with buyers that you'll just sell off market deals sometimes for, and just depending on how it goes, you'll take a commission or?
Yeah, typically, luckily, we have a big enough team now. So like Sandra and Michelle and Melissa and all my other cool people are on here. Andrea, like, we have a big enough team on our side that it's like, well, if I get something come through, all of them know I'm not taking a buyer's agent. Like, I really don't have time to go show people houses. That's not gonna happen. I used to love it. Like, it was so fun, right? Like, I love doing that. But I feel like you guys need it more now. So I got, yeah, well, you guys could do it. So typically what I'll do is like, I'll either co-list it with them or like be a buyers, just to show them like the ropes for the first couple. And then after that, obviously they can just ask questions like this, right? But I feel like for the most part, buyers, they come to me because they know I have off-market deals, right? They're like, hey, and that's key. You keep saying that. And I love that that's a big pull that you have. Is like, hey, any agent can send you, or everyone can already see what's online. The key is to find off-market deals. So and that goes for all of you. If you're working with a client or wanting to work with a specific client and they keep going, oh, well, I already saw that deal, or, it's like, oh, because unfortunately in the past, what you would do would be like, I have, what are you looking for? What areas are you looking for? I'll create a hot sheet for you. Well, you don't need to do that anymore. I hate to tell you. I mean, you can, and by all means do, but for the most part, they're actually going to Zillow. They're going to Redfin, creating their own hot sheet. And so typically you're just like, oh, let me know if you like something, and then we can go see it. Well, that's kind of a crappy buyer's agent. I'm just going to say, that's like your only communication is like, hey, if you see something and you like it, let me know and I'll open the door for you. If that's your strategy, I would say that, right, there's so much more. Obviously, what Paige just got done saying, like, you really have to go out of the box and be like, okay, how do I provide value to them and make them feel like I'm the only one? I'm the only one that can provide this value, right? And that's, I feel like, is super key, just because, like, if you're just white noise if you're doing everything else that all the other agents are doing. And luckily, this whole process has been weeding out a lot of the bad agents, so that's good.
Yes. I feel like between creating a full CMA for them before they offer on anything, like you can see all the sold data, you can see everything that's under contract. Oh, this one just went under contract at this price. I can call the agent and say, hey, you know, if I always say if it's a good agent, they won't tell me what they got, because if it falls through and they took less, they don't want you to know. But if you know the agent, sometimes they'll tell you if, oh yeah, we got pretty close to list price. They'll tell you if they got multiple offers, that kind of thing. But doing a full CMA before offering on anything. And then when I'm working with big or high end clients, I do set up a hot sheet, but I only have it go to me, and it's an instant notification. So then I get notified right away. So if something just lists, then I'm the first one that's sending to them like, oh, this just barely lists like a couple minutes ago. This one looks like it might be perfect for you. What do you think? Like, I'm sending it to them. And a lot of our buyers, we just have it, like I have Mia and Jen helping them. They use a program called Real Scout to send them properties. It's cool. They can like stuff, dislike it. But for me, when the few that I do take, I just have the hot sheet go directly to me in an express alert. So I get it immediately. So anything I didn't know about already that's upcoming, I get it to me and I just send it to them directly, like in a text message.
Yeah, I love that. And because like, especially if they're already on a hot sheet or multiple hot sheets from like, you know, Zillow and Redfin and then Utah Real Estate, it gets really muddy if they're really actively looking for a house, right? So in their email. So it's really great if you can like pull them outside of their email, a direct text message, and be like, hey, this is the house that I think works for you. Like, I think that's so valuable, and it makes them special, right?
Yeah,
like, oh,
if you're the first one.
Yeah. No, I love that. Something that we could train on is obviously seller financing. I keep getting hit up quite a bit about that today. So if y'all wanted to stick around for maybe 5-10 more minutes, we could jump into that. I could share my screen. If not, we can obviously postpone that onto another call. So what do y'all, ooh, we got Jen join. Hello, what's up? What are we feeling this morning? Where are we at on time? Let's see.
What do you think? I mean, yeah, I feel like we could do a whole training just on seller finance. Super valuable. Definitely something every single agent needs to know how to do, whether it's sub 2 or standard seller financing or a wrap. So I don't know. What do you think, Scott? Should we do a whole training on that maybe next week, or should we jump into a little bit right now or open it up for questions?
Yeah, so here's my thought with all this. This is why this group works. This is why it's so beautiful, because most of the people on this, actually, I see all of you as leaders. And so if you're really, really good at doing one thing that's very specific, like seller financing, I don't do any of it. So if I get seller financing, I'm like, talk to Maeli. She's awesome at it, right? And so, you know, the beautiful part about this group is you guys take that leadership. You guys can say, hey, I'm doing this specific training on seller financing. Who wants to be a part of it? Because it might, you know, for 10, 15 minutes, you can get kind of the basics of it, but you can't really learn a ton about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maeli, but really, if you say, Maeli's like, hey, I'm doing this really cool seller financing course. It's going to take 30 minutes to an hour. Who wants to join it? Then everyone can dive into it, support it. And then somebody might be really good at wholesaling. Somebody might good at luxury real estate, right? And so all of us have all these different tools and different things that we've been able to do to help everyone in the group. Like I just said, hey, who wants to come tomorrow and get these off-market stale listings, and I'll show you how to get deals, right? And so I just feel like with these calls, it's good that we all connect. We do Q&As. We go over like strategies when it comes to the real estate stuff. I just don't know in 10 minutes if we're going to get a ton of nuggets, but I would love Maeli to talk 5-10 minutes about seller financing and about how you can get deals and how you do it. So then we can always come back and be like, Maeli, when are you teaching a course on this? Or going to Flip and Mitch and Maeli. Like, that's the whole idea of this whole group, guys, is we're a bunch of leaders and we can all learn from each other so many facets of real estate. So that would be my thought, Maeli. If you took 5 to 10 minutes to really talk about the concept about it, and then if you wanted to do like a longer course or training or webinar on it, I'd absolutely love that. That's my thought.
Yeah, Pam has a question.
My question is actually more of a statement. I kind of like the idea of having, just because I only found out about this call like an hour ago. And so I just came on real quick. So
are you in the group, Pam?
I don't know. You sent me an invitation to this.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yes, you did, Maeli. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm interested in doing this, in being in this group and doing it, but I think that we need a whole session on that. I mean,
Yes.
I agree.
I just feel like if we started with 10 minutes, for one thing, I've got to get out of here. I got an appointment. But I would love to do just a whole session on it for sure.
Perfect. Yes. No, absolutely. Can you see my screen or no?
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can everybody can?
I can
Okay.
see everybody. I'm on my phone though. I mean, yeah. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Love you. Thanks for joining us, Pam. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. So
So-
yeah, I absolutely will share actually here. How do I turn this off? How do I go back to not sharing?
Well, here's a thought, and this is a group, this is a community. Like, what are y'all's thoughts? Like, where someone comes on, talks about something very, very unique, or somebody's crushing it at open houses. It might be Tana the next week, right? She's like, she does a 5-10 minute intro and then followed up with later that week where she does a full-on course that could be 30 minutes to an hour. I really like that idea, so that you guys all have an impact. It's not just Paige, it's not just Maeli, it's not just me. We learn from each other. That's the beautiful part about this community. That's my thought. So, but I agree with you, Pam. I don't know who you are, Pam. Nice to meet you. Anyway, but yeah, I'd love that, Maeli. Just take 5-10 minutes, and then if you'd be open in the next week to put everyone together, and we can really dive in when everyone can really have that full undivided attention to learn about seller financing.
No, I love that. Really, I just wanted to, and I can kind of burn through this a little bit, but you know, what people don't recognize is arbitrage is a real thing. And so, you know, I wanted to, let's see if I can put at least that one slide deck. So most traditional lending, where people just, they want to put people in a box, right? And unfortunately, business owners is a great example where, and I work with a lot of business owners. Because I'm a business owner, I just relate more to business owners. I feel like that's kind of been my niche for quite a few years. And if I was to go try and buy a house right now, I guarantee you I wouldn't qualify for a couple of reasons. One, I wouldn't qualify because I write off everything, right? If you have multiple, you know, if you have multiple rentals, truthfully, you shouldn't be paying rent, or you should be paying taxes, right? And so if that's the case, owning one rental opens up 250 tax deduction categories, not just tax deductions, but tax deduction categories. And so if somebody's a, you know, savvy investor or a savvy business owner, then they're going to have at least one rental, right? They're going to, and that's great. And they're writing off so many incredible things. And with that being said, they're probably not going to show that they make very much income. And so if you get to them in time, right, you can be like, hey, let's get to with a lender. And then that way you can claim the proper income on your taxes for, you know, 2025, blah, 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 right? So if you get to them now, then potentially, right, at the end of 2025, they should be able to qualify maybe for a loan. Most of the time, it's 2 years though. And this is where I feel like it does business owners and investors a huge disservice. And if you're on this call, you are a business owner, right? You are a real estate professional, and you are a business owner. And I hope all of you are treating your business like that. But that's the issue, is that unfortunately, most agents, most just business owners in general, do not qualify for traditional mortgage. So seller financing became obviously the best thing that ever hit the market to me, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, once I learned, I'm like, oh my gosh, I try to pick up one a month. I'm not kidding. I try to pick up at least one seller finance deal a month, and it's very intentional, right? I'm like, no, because that's my retirement, right? Is my seller finance deals. And I don't own one mortgage. I don't have one mortgage in our name. I never will, to be honest. I don't see what's the purpose of it. It doesn't do me any service whatsoever. So you can't see my screen, can you? Anybody? No? Yes. Let's see if I can go back to this screen. Let's see.
We did a minute ago, but it went off.
You did a minute ago. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. And I just wanted to burn through it real quick. So if you think about it though, most people, if it's, let's say the average home right now, right, $600,000, they have to put, if it's a second home. So we're talking about if you're trying to help a client buy maybe a rental, right? Or if you're helping a client buy their second dream home or whatever it is, then they're having to put 25% down. on a $600,000 mortgage, that's $150,000, right? And the interest rate is closer to 8% interest because it's an investment property. And so your PITI is through the roof, usually closer to about $3,000 a month. Close, a little bit higher than that. And unfortunately, if you were to try and rent that out, something that's happening with the market is that it wouldn't rent out for more than what you owe on the property. So this is where it's getting we get issues, is because people go, oh, well, how do I actually pick up a rental then if it doesn't cash flow? Like, right? That's the question. And so my biggest thing that I really want to focus on is helping people recognize that there is a way to still make cash flow on their properties, but it is using killer financing. And the reason is because a recent stat that I saw was like, well, it's like 65% of the United States is in a loan currently less than 4% interest. That's wild to think about. That means there's 65% of Utah, let's just say, has a monthly payment that could actually cash flow. And so if there was a way to arbitrage, right, and take advantage of that property that they currently have, then obviously it solves so many problems. And the reason why this solves so many problems is because on one end, right, somebody's thinking, oh my gosh, I can't move. I can't afford the interest rates. I can't afford how high the purchase price is. Everything's going up. I can't move. I'm stuck, right? You hear it constantly. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. It's like, okay, well, let's not hear that white noise any longer. It's terrible. Let's go in and tell them and show them a different solution. So that's what I would love to take about an hour and really go through how you can show your buyers how they can actually buy a home, or maybe sell their home and get into a different home, right? By seller financing their current home, or subject to in this case, right? So there's so many workarounds, so many incredible tools to be able to say, hey, like, this is a great option. I will say two last things though, and in leaving, is that most agents think that seller financing, or subject to, wraparound, whatever you want to call it, is illegal. Now, the reason why they think this is illegal is because their broker told them this, which is absolutely not true. So it's like sad that there are so many brokerages out there that this is their, this is their communication to their agents. And the only reason why they're saying this, it's not for any other reason. It's for one reason only, is they're terrified of getting a lawsuit. They're terrified that something goes wrong and then they're going to be liable for it, because there are a few more steps that you have to. There is more paperwork, right? But that's really on title. That's not on the broker. So I actually don't understand the misunderstanding on why they think they're going to be reliable for this. Because at the end of the day, you do need to, as far as my concern, right? You do need to close with the title company that is owned by, like a law firm. Closing with the title company that is not owned by a law firm, now I think you could get into some issues, right? Because maybe the paperwork wasn't prepared properly. But nevertheless, you can learn how to do the paperwork properly, then you can solve so many people's problems. And I'm just grateful that we're here as a group and that we're able to have so many different resources to, if somebody comes to you and like, hey, this is my client's issue. Well, there's so many of us in our group that has a solution to whatever your client is facing and or what you're facing. So that makes me really happy to be a part of what we're doing here. We're excited to have all of you join us. A lot of new faces. Like, it's so exciting. So yeah, I would love to. I'll probably post. I'll do like a poll in our group chat and find out when the best time for everybody would be. But my guess would be to just be right after this call, right? If it's scheduled.
Or we can just do it. Should we do that like this, that maybe next week or something in replace? It's just a full seller finance.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. I'm game.
Let's do it. My speaker just went off, so I can't hear
Let's
anything.
do it. Mine just went off.
No, my speaker just went off, so I can't hear everything. I'm trying to figure out how to change it too. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyways.
Hey, so we have some events coming up. I think September 15th, 16th, there's going to be a door knocking to teach you guys how to knock doors. We got some awesome savages that are coming on board. So that'll help you guys get listing deals, off market stuff. Tomorrow night, my son's football team is going to kick Joey's Butts football team tomorrow night. It's cool. Our kids are actually playing each other in football. So that will be fun. And then Thursday night, if you're not in Arizona, you should be flipping with Mitch and Maeli Thursday night, right? So
Yeah.
we have so many of these alternate events. Many of them are free. Others are in different parts of the just all over the place. And if you guys have other events, just throw them in the group chat, and we can all show up and support each other. And this thing's going to get wild and really fast, really quick. So
Wild.
I love it. All right, guys.
Yay.
Well, next week on Tuesday, if we don't see you at some of this stuff beforehand, we'll see you on Tuesday. Oh, Michelle, do you have a question?
Yeah, so Scott's doing that thing tomorrow. Where's it at?
oh, it's in Arizona. So Paige and I will be in Arizona. I think Brady's going to be down there. Brady's been kind of under the weather right now, but a handful of us will be down in Arizona. So if you know other realtors or investors in Arizona, we have some massive, massive players. And Paige is going to be talking about social media strategies, kind of similar to what she did with Maeli. So if you guys know people in Arizona, we're going to go down there. We're going to open up that market down in Arizona and bring some awesome players down there. So
Yeah, I would reach out. If you guys have anyone in Arizona, reach out to them, have them come, and like we'll just recruit them for you basically. So if you guys want to do some outreach to any agents you know in Arizona, or anybody, if you want to look some people up and have them come, then we're going down there anyways, and we can get them over to the group for you.
I'll post the link. It's $29 to attend, but if you just tell them, just say, hey, I'm friends, make them feel special. Just say, hey, I'll get you in for free or whatever, but just get them to come. But I'll post the link of the Eventbrite. It's Thursday night starting at 5:30 social hour. I just copied this idea from Maeli because it's genius what she does with flipping with Mitch and Maeli. And then 6 o'clock, we have some massive, massive players. These people get paid tons of money to go on the stages. And so we've got them all coming together 6 to 8 p.m. in Tempe, Arizona at the Moxia Marriott. So I'll post the link, share this with all your people, and let's keep building this massive community with New Wave and Real.
Let's
Does
do
have
it.
the address and all that?
Yeah, it will, Michelle. The Eventbrite does. So just click on the actual Eventbrite and it'll pull up everything for you. Great questions. Let's go. So proud of all of you. Keep crushing. If you have any other questions, obviously reach out. Use the group chat, right? We are here to serve you. So if you're missing something in your business, if you're missing any of the stuff that we're talking about, please just let us know. Like, we don't know, we can't read minds. So it is kind of up to you to let us know what you're needing and how to serve you to give you exactly what you need so that you can be the very best agent. Okay, so there it is. Love you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye. Mm-hmm.